It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit, update your info with LES, and if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl, Jordan, with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Let's talk commitment. And what better way to do that than with some shiny, sparkly jewelry? Am I right? Now, I'm not suggesting you have to rush, but if you're considering making a significant move, do your planning. We offer financing and payment plans. Lock down your selection with confidence. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time, on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line, here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Take your internet service to new levels with Allo, your award-winning internet provider across our fiber hoods. Allo isn't just about the fastest internet available. It's about connecting you to your world, work, and play seamlessly. Our award-winning service ensures affordable, secure, and reliable connectivity, setting us apart. Ready to transform your internet experience? Experience the fiber difference today. Sign up now at allofiber.com. Allo, connecting your world.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and text us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music.
This is Mommy's jam.
Then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
My early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take, but it gave my mom and me more time to plan together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Pass the sticks to the Nebraska Esports Squad as they take you on a journey through the wonderful world of video games. Right here on Big Red Esports on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, guys, we're back for another good old hour of esports talk.
Yes, sir.
I missed last week. That's on me.
But you're back here today. You're here today.
Yeah,
and we got a good show. I'm assuming we got it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, it'll be a good show. That much is certain.
It's always a good show when Jane Schilke's in the house and I'm running the board because obviously we're pros.
Yeah, we're just pros at this. We're professionals at this.
Yeah. We're
totally not, both in our last year of college about just trying to scrape together something. But just going to introduce real quick. I'm Jaden Schilke. I'm the treasurer, Call of Duty game manager. I shoutcast and I play for Nebraska Esports, the club over at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, which is just down the street.
I am not on the esports team. I just run the board for the ticket.
Yeah.
I was talking before the show. I was like, people probably think I'm on the esports team because I'm on the show every single week. But I'm not. I'm just here to give you some company.
Yeah, you're just
have another voice.
You're running the sticks,
I play video games, so
yeah,
I kind of
it makes the conversation really nice because it gives a little bit of outside perspective to some things, and it's nice.
So what do you want to talk about today, Jen? I'd heard some Rocket League news. Do you want to start with that?
You talking our Rocket League team? Yeah. So we made it. So we made it into the national championship tournament as an at-large bid. So the selection committee selected us to get in as a 3 seed. Yeah, three seed. And
not as good as 1 or 2, but 3's good.
Sure. I mean, but it's a fair seeding because all the 1s and 2s went to auto qualifiers, people that won their conference.
That makes sense.
And since it's all
is there not a Big Ten?
It was Oregon.
Oregon's good. I forgot about Oregon. Yeah.
Oregon, and that one was close too, which is what really solidified our 3 seed.
Nebraska barely lost that one.
Yeah, that was a really fun watch because that was every match back and forth. It started off a little rocky, but
that was
it really was close the whole way through. So they had their first match of the national championship tournament last night. So the brackets started, and now we're down to the Sweet 16. It's not 64; it's 32. That's something to kind of aware.
So it's not like March Madness.
It's March Madness, but about half the size.
Okay. Which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's
not basketball.
Yeah, it's not basketball, but also there's a fair amount of upset potential. I think it's just with the amount of conferences we currently have in that league and everything, and it's only in its second year.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, do you think it could eventually get to 64?
Maybe. I think if we see more colleges kind of embrace esports, so we're getting there.
Yeah,
it's really around the corner. Where I mean, there's so many schools that have embraced esports at either the club level or higher by now that I'm sure we'll get there for that league. There are competitive leagues with it, or competitor leagues that have been around way longer and are far more established than that league. And we're currently in the summer series for that as well. So that's actually going on right now. I'm not sure where you'd be able to find us because we're not necessarily going to be streamed. That's something that like the league has power to stream it. If they pick us up, they will. If not, oh well. And then this evening we have our next match for that national championship tournament. So there's a couple different things for Rocket League going on right now. They have a busy summer.
Yeah. They're doing good though. They're handling it well.
Yeah, and it's actually even crazier. So they won last night pretty dominantly. But one of the players, Northern Arizona.
Ooh, big time college.
Yeah, real big time player, you know. But they actually have a really good Rocket League team, and their esports program is pretty well known, pretty well established in the collegiate community, and so very dominant. But the underlying thing with this entire weekend of matches is one of our players is on vacation and is on vacation and had to bring the Xbox to the hotel and play on a 50-inch screen because the monitor wouldn't fit in their suitcase. So they have to play on a 50-inch screen off of their hotspot. They had at best like 120 ping. And it would like peak at 440. And they still won in pretty good fashion. They play a really tough matchup tonight in Florida International.
Does he have a better setup now?
No, he's still on vacation. He's on vacation the whole weekend. So if we win today against FIU, we play probably San Diego State, who's one of the favorites on Sunday. And I don't know if he'll be back home for that or not. I'm hoping because that'd be preferred, but at the same time,
just for people that don't understand, just playing in a different place is already changes your comfort level.
Enough, yeah.
But then add on top of that a bad internet connection, probably not terrible, but bad.
It's 128.
It's
not
good. It could be worse.
I mean, we're talking over a tenth of a second. You're gonna feel it at that point.
You're gonna feel. No, I'm not saying it's good. But I'm saying like I've seen like people on 1,000 ping.
I know. Yeah.
So I mean, it's like you can play, but it's terrible.
Oh yeah.
And then also on top of that, he's on a 55-inch screen, bro. Playing any video game on an actual TV is terrible.
Well, the input latency is going to be at least a half second when you combine the ping.
And then because even I play on a TV, but it's like 30 inches.
So even that's a little bit on the higher end.
It's a little big, but like I'm used to it.
Yeah. And nowadays 30 inches isn't bad.
But like, bro, when you're getting to 50, 55.
Well, and that's the change from like a monitor to a TV as well, where they're not meant to have that input, that input latency be lightning fast, especially when you're at a hotel. They're not getting like the crazy 1 millisecond input, because that doesn't matter when you're watching a movie or watching the one channel that always has people selling jewelry for some reason.
I watch that all the time, Jane. Don't make fun of that.
I mean, $500 and you gotta have this necklace right now. You know what I mean? Like $500. All you gotta do is call in. But no, so they got a tough weekend kind of with how that's going. I'm not sure if the guy on vacation is playing in the qualifier matches. I would assume he is, but I'm sure he's probably like playing the matches and then saying, "All right, guys, see ya. I'm gonna go enjoy time with family."
I couldn't do that. I mean, bro, that'd be the worst game. I mean, at least it's Rocket League and not like an FPS shooter, I guess. Even that still sucks.
Yeah,
it would suck no matter what game.
Because you have to now adjust your prediction for where the ball is going to be, and that changes everything. So your boost and everything else is going to be different because there's inevitably going to be some amount of variable where you're getting extrapolated or you're having why is it escaping me? There's a specific word. You get it all the time in Call of Duty because there's basically when the ping is variable, it makes you jitter around the map.
Oh yeah.
So that like it's the layman's term for it is rubber banding.
Yeah.
And so you're going to get a little bit of rubber banding when you're getting that variable from 100 to 400.
Layman's terms.
Well, yeah, because that's
what everyone said. Everyone says it's rubber banding. No one says anything else.
There's a specific term for it.
All right.
There's a specific. I can't remember it off the top of my head right now.
So going back to the TV versus monitor thing. So if you have like a smaller TV compared to like a monitor, is it still like is a monitor still way better for gaming than like
miles better? Because I mean you're looking at when you go to Walmart, right, and you look at those TVs, even if they're 24-inch TVs, right, that you just put on your desk and call it good. Even those, you can look at Walmart. They're not going up to 240 hertz. They're not going up to 1 millisecond or less response time. They take a little bit less power, which is good for your electric bill, right?
But if I'm at an apartment, doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you're in an apartment, well, I actually have to pay my power. That's the only utility I have to pay.
Mine's all I can use.
You could use whatever.
I could suck up the whole world's internet.
Where do you live?
50-50s.
Oh, that makes sense. Never mind. Yeah, that rent's crazy.
No, it's not that bad.
Is it not?
No.
You live
I have 4 people.
Oh, well that makes sense then. I live alone.
Okay. So you're probably paying almost the same price as me, but I have 4 people.
Maybe.
We'll discuss off air.
Yeah. That's an off-air conversation. But so a monitor for gaming performance, even same size, same everything, a monitor is significantly better and always has been, just purely, even if you go back to the CRT, go back to, when it was an actual beam of light, then all TVs and monitors had the same response time because it's literally, instead of having to correlate pixels on a screen, it was literally just projecting light onto a screen, right? From a bulb. That's what a CRT monitor did. That's why it has such good contrast and such good everything else. And then LCDs had to get to that point, but that's beside the point. Basically, monitors always trump for gaming performance,
just because of like.
And when you get higher size in TVs as well, this is a huge note. When you get to higher screen sizes, it really kills your delay.
Yeah, it's bad
because basically the processor in the TV has to operate millions more pixels, like millions more actual lights on the screen at the same time. So that's why you might see some screen tear. That's when you might see some other stuff. It's a lot better nowadays than it was 10 years ago in terms of the screen tear, especially. But even then, we're talking about TV processors, which are not meant to be high powered, and they only recently have been more efficiently made. So like the QHD, stuff like that, because you're getting 4K, you're getting these smaller pixels. but that still has meant that the 50 inches, the 75 inches, your huge TVs that you mount on the wall. I mean, growing up, I think everybody played on a huge TV, right? Or some massive TV. But as you get older, you kind of realize this is kind of a little bit of a,
it's bad.
It's a little bit of a broken leg.
I mean, when I first got an Xbox, we were just playing like 2K. So I was like, I don't care that I'm on a big TV.
Well, and when you're playing casually at any game, it doesn't really matter until you get into games like Elden Ring, I think. But even that you can get away with.
Yeah. So if someone's been playing on a TV and they switch to a monitor, what would be like the first thing that they would notice? That'd be like way different, you think? I know we're a little off topic.
Yeah. Well, no, this is
just
fine.
interesting.
It's a good conversation. So when I first switched, I didn't really notice it because it was from 60 frames to 60 frames, but the response time felt instant, right? It was this like, it's like a whole nother realm of, I feel like I can do this, and I don't know how I was playing this way before.
Okay.
Just like, especially in games like Call of Duty. So you'd have to basically predict where the guy was. I had a really bad TV. I'm going to preface that. Like I was on a PS4 playing Black Ops 3, on
a bad TV.
Yeah, on a Best Buy brand, 32-inch TV. And I'd have to like almost predict where the guy's going to go. And you got to do that anyway. You have to like have actual future vision to then actually hit your shots. So then once I got to PC, it was this whole different world. Especially with a monitor. And then when you take into account things like frame rate, things like everything else, I mean, frame rate, when you increase that, anytime you get a significant boost in frames from, say, 60 to 120 or 120 to 240 or higher, it's going to really feel like you have
you kind of have to you have to get used to it at first.
It's like motion blur because you're missing, I'd say, a good 75% of those frames. Like you see them, but you don't register each frame. So like when you play a game like Elden Ring, you need each frame. You need to register each frame in your brain when you're really locked in, right? Because those timings are so precise, especially for bosses like Radon and everything else. It for those of you that know, you know.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Elden Ring, Dark Souls, they all have boss significantly different timings, and they're all frame specific. When you get into fighting games, you have iframes. You really got to make sure that you're hitting. There's frames, and perceiving frames is important. When you get a new monitor or when you upgrade the setup and you upgrade the monitor with it, because obviously, that's part of the setup. But then your game performs way better than it used to. It's a whole new realm when you get into frame rates of 240, 360, because you're immediately perceiving significantly more frames per second. And it takes time for your brain to really register that. And then once you kind of get into a rhythm, it feels the same. But that initial hour, I'd say, like if you hop on for, say, a 3-hour session, by the end of the 3-hour session,
you'll be used to it.
You'll be really used to it. The first hour, I'd say, the first hour, I think, is where it really gets you, is like,
because I remember when I was at home, I would always be on like 100 ping or 80 ping, and then when I moved to Lincoln, I'm on like 30 ping.
Yeah, ping is different. Yeah, and this is nothing against any specific carriers of internet.
He wants to preface that.
I want to preface that, but when I was before college, I lived in Kearney, and Allo hadn't hit Kearney yet.
Yeah,
that only came around maybe 2 years ago. So back in 2018, 2019, 2020, I was playing on Spectrum internet, which in Kearney at least is not great.
Yeah.
So I was constantly on variable pings from anywhere between 80 to upwards of 240.
Yeah, it's like 80's a good day. You're like, woo,
80's a great day, and that's when my brother's out working. I got the day off. My mom's at work.
To yourself.
The whole bandwidth is mine.
80, woo,
80. But we're talking. I go back because I would go back for winter break, summer break, stuff like that. So I'm playing COD competitively by the time that Allo finally starts to creep into Kearney and start to get around. And I was playing S&D Chals on Game Battles, Rip Game Battles, I miss you, and some CMG Chals, basically playing other people for $5, right? Like throw $5 into the website, set up like this thing that says, yo, I'll chow you, you and your duo in Search and Destroy in Call of Duty. So I do that with my boy Sully, one of my teammates who graduated, and we would throw $5, just kind of trying to make some bank, just play some fun, get some experience on the game before the season started. And we were on, so he was in Denver or Fort Collins, and I was in Kearney. So the ping shouldn't be bad, but we're in different regions, so we would technically ping different servers. And so depending on where the other team was, that would completely change the dynamic of ping. But no matter what, I was always 100 plus on ping, and I could not win a gunfight. I cannot do anything.
It's terrible.
And then I finally went to my mom, and this is like almost turning into an ad for Aloe at this point. But
they're
I
one of
literally
93.7 ticket sponsors. So
really,
yeah.
Well, hey, I mean that's perfect then. But this is pure true story. I wholeheartedly, this is pure true story. I go to my mom. I'm like, Mom, how much are we paying for charter? Because that stuff is, I mean, it keeps getting more expensive. I knew it was, and we were getting worse and worse rates because it was supposed to be like 500 gig, but it's only 500 gig upload, not download. And then the ping is here or there. There's no guaranteed ping because it was pinging off some data center, way out of the way, right? And then we look at Aloe, and it's cheaper and way better. So we were like, okay, let's just do that instead. And then the Aloe guy comes out, for free, sets it up and all that, the whole process of Aloe.
Yeah.
And next day, I'm sitting at 8 ping, and I'm like, dude, I'm back. Because because I lived on campus, and I'm talking 8 ping, 10 ping, every day. So I got so used to it that going back to 120.
No, it's terrible.
Oh, dude.
No, you don't even want to play.
No,
it's like it's not even fun to play.
And when you're a competitive player, that plays at like a certain level, and then ping or something that you can't necessarily control in that moment starts to really hamper your performance, dude. It's a killer.
No,
it's a vibe killer.
It's not fun. It's definitely not fun. Ping. I remember, playing Fortnite builds back in the day, and you'd be on 120 ping. And the worst thing about building in Fortnite was that a lot of fights would be determined by a guy having better ping.
Oh yeah.
So if you're, it like I'm not even gonna get into the whole thing, but like literally you would lose gunfights or lose build fights because someone had 60 ping and you were on 100 ping.
Oh yeah.
Or they had 30 ping and you were on
so
80
many,
ping.
So many, especially shooter games are completely reliant on ping.
Fortnite was bad though, also about that.
It was.
It's so.
But the building had a lot to do with it because the building, especially at the beginning, wasn't the most consistent
I'm just saying now,
with ping.
There's a reason why all like professional players are like central. Like a lot of professional players live in Texas or something.
Yeah, well, that's most pro teams are based out of LA or
you have
Dallas
to be on west,
or
east, or central. You don't sit like
you don't go into like the Denver territory because then you're getting interference for the West Coast from the mountains, and then there's a whole
then you're not as close to
things.
the central.
Well, but when so I play in a beer league for Call of Duty. And basically you sign up solo, and then you get paired with random teammates throughout the whole season. You have your own point total based on map wins each night, and you get like 3 matches. Your best match score gets you to a certain amount of points depending on the wins, and then from there on whatever. But they would always say, who has a central server? Who has a central one? Because it's all across the country, right?
Yeah.
And central pings well for all of them.
Yeah. I remember Fortnite didn't add essential until like a while after. They didn't have a Central.
I didn't really ever play Fortnite like that, so I never.
I think they had an East and a West. They didn't add Central until like a year ago or 2 years ago.
Huh. Yeah, I've never played Fortnite,
No, I haven't
like
played
that.
in years.
So, yeah. I had no clue.
No, and it was when they finally added the Central, so then for competitive, they were then they're like, oh, you can do East, Central, or West. And I was like, well, then I was making queue times bad. It's like, why don't you just put everyone Central?
Yeah. That's weird. But
yeah, that's a horror. Yeah.
Whole thing.
We're only one segment into the show. We still got 2 more to go. We're going to throw it to break. When we come back, what do you want to talk about, Jane, next segment?
I'll have to think about that on break. We can talk about that.
We will talk on air what we're going to talk about, and then we'll get into it next segment. You're listening to Big Red Esports right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to Big Red Esports on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Hey, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. It's official. Wedding season is here. And we know that every detail counts. From bridal party gifts to the finishing touches for the bride and groom, discover our exclusive selection of watches and fine jewelry. Did you know we even offer in-house engraving? Celebrate your special day with a personal touch and a timeless gift they'll cherish forever. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Play ball! Summertime is here, and so is another action-packed baseball season with the Lincoln Salt Dogs. Bring your whole crew to Haymarket Park to experience the magic under the lights and the thrill of the game. Enjoy daily specials like Wiener Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, and Family Fun Day Sunday, plus special events and discounts. Don't miss out on the excitement.
Strike 3, you're out!
Visit saltdogs.com to see this week's promotions and secure your tickets to unleash the fun.
All right, it's time for Final Jeopardy. It's been a tight contest today that all comes down to this final question. No summer picnic or family get-together or trip to the lake is complete without this particular item. Let's go first to Bob.
What is beer?
No, that's not it. Think about the kids. Over to you, Farley.
What is corn on the cob?
Tough to grill that on a boat. Wrong again. Grace, this time for the win.
What is Bure's cheese spread?
We have a winner! Bure's cheese spread, available in most local grocers in Nebraska.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Bank Strong, and the Ad Council.
You're spending $300 a month. Binge drinking is the most common form of excessive drinking, which costs the United States more than $191 billion each year. By drinking less, you will save $300 a month. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through July 2nd is 20% off grass-fed New York strips. Plus, buy a mystery box and get 3 New York strips free. Also, buy 1 salami, get 1 50% off. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer. Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
I noticed in the article it's spelled D-A-W-G.
Yeah, that's
what. Now hold on.
That's standard.
Again,
Jake,
journalism.
a dog is a D-A-W-G in terms of an athlete, or someone thinks they're badass. Yeah.
Dogs, there's no way
D-A-W-G.
in 1985 that was the case. Now this is a recent phenomenon, right?
That's not that new. This is that's not. This new. is not. This is since 2000 probably.
D-A-W-G.
Yeah. Where have you been?
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. This is Big Red Esports on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we are back for the second segment.
Hello.
And we're just we didn't really end up talking about anything.
We got into a whole nother discussion.
Yeah.
That we won't talk about on air.
Yeah. But so we could go back to the Rocket League stuff because there's still plenty there.
Yeah, we went off on a tangent about.
We did kind of go on a tangent, yeah. So
we like doing that.
That's true. I mean, it's always a fun time.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here to get us off topic.
Yeah, here to chat. Just have a good conversation. So the Rocket League team, who I love dearly. I love just ranting about them because they've actually, their success the entire summer has boosted us to the point that we've actually been able to do more. So, for example, I'm able to contact and have a little bit more to offer sponsors, right? To say, hey, we have a higher following. We're growing. We're growing a following. We're getting to that next step. If you want to support it, like that sort of thing.
Yeah,
I'm able to kind of say that now because it's tangible. Yeah. Real
before
growth.
It was just like get on it early, but now you have actual numbers and be like
and it's important too that we're actually keeping this going and we're not letting it run cold and trying to cold start the social engine at the beginning of every single school year. So if you see fun tweets from Nebraska Esports at Esports Nebraska on Twitter, go like them, comment, for me, please. Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah. For me, please support me in my social media manager aspirations. I'm not.
It's his future aspirations to run social media.
No, totally. Yeah, this is totally. No, I do want to do esports.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think that. I don't think I want to do social media management, but I think it's a good thing.
You need to be able to know how to do it.
I know how to run a successful Twitter. The main thing I need to get better at is graphic design.
Yeah. That's a whole nother thing.
That's a whole major.
Yeah.
So that's something I can't necessarily do. But I think, and this is kind of going on to a about me sort of section, but we were talking about this and I'm happy to talk about this now, but I'm the treasurer of the club. And one of the great things about the club is the learning opportunities that we are able to give to our students.
Yeah.
So our student leaders do a majority of the heavy lifting, which allows for people like me to be able to learn in the real world, get the experience of, say, talking to a sponsor, funding this event, or I've made a budget. I've triple checked the budget. I've sent out the draft of the budget, gotten feedback, and had to revise it, that sort of stuff. Like I've done that now. And I had no idea how any of this would have worked before. There's things that I didn't think of that I would have had no idea going in. But now that I've done it, I can say, hey, to whatever esports or whoever really, I can say, I know how to manage money at a basic level, at least, right? With a club. I know how to raise money, generate revenue.
Yeah.
and I know how to efficiently use it without really, making it unsustainable. That's going to be the main thing that I go for this year, is making sure that I can hit all of the goals for the club without making it an unsustainable effort.
Yeah.
And then I have to basically implement that as a system to then have the next person in line fill in after me, because I graduate in May. And unless I come back for grad school, which maybe it's really a depending thing, but if I come back for grad school, then I may pick up the role again.
Yeah.
But if not, I need to leave a guide.
Yeah.
Because before my time, before my time now and the sudden growth of the club, there's not really been a need for a treasurer.
Yeah.
Respectfully, because we didn't have any income, so we didn't have any expenditures.
Yeah.
We were kind of just people on teams paying out of pocket to go to a tournament, or paying out of pocket for our jerseys, right? So now, where we're as a club trying to pay for some of that and trying to take on that load of paying for entry fees, paying for trips to tournaments. So if me and the boys want to go to Fort Collins in spring for a Call of Duty tournament, now I have to, at this moment, plan for that and try to not even just get sponsors, but plan for fundraisers.
Yeah.
Different ways to raise revenue, and also try to cultivate a social media following of higher and higher numbers, and try to get more people invested. I think that's the main thing, is when you see actual Husker fan base investment, which is what we're starting to chip into, which is crazy to me. But when you start to see that sort of an investment, that's a longer lasting effect than I can have anywhere else. Is being able to generate that following and being able to get that engine running, because once it's running, it really helps boost it up and keep it keep it afloat, and then plan ahead for whoever takes my spot, whenever that be, whether it's this year or a year from now. Whenever that happens, that I am no longer the treasurer, there needs to be a guide there that says, okay, here's the general mentality you need to have about the budget. Here's the do's and don'ts. Make sure you have this, that, the other thing, and, set goals, try to achieve them in the best way possible, but don't sink the club account for it. Don't go into the negative. Don't, obviously, because we go broke, I think it's kind of over, but well, not over. I mean, we were technically broke for the first 4 years of our existence. So there was like a total of $15 in the account.
Hey, it's 15.
Yeah, it was positive, but we're looking better now. So
and that's just going to come with the growth of esports as well as a whole.
Yeah, that's true. I think there's so much that that has yet to happen for us and for collegiate esports as a whole, to really determine
it'll get there.
The path. Yeah, it'll get there, and I'm confident it'll go in a really good direction. But it's trending upward no matter what. I think my main hope is that at some point we can get support from the athletic department as a whole. Because with the facilities that Nebraska has at tutoring and mental wellness and physical wellness and everything about it, having those kind of resources would change the collegiate game on a whole nother level. The pro teams don't have the facilities because it's expensive for a pro team to invest heavily in that sort of thing. But for a college that has multiple different teams, right, and they're trying to compete at a Power 5 level, this is something that they have, right? So with esports and with collegiate esports, the main goal in my mind is to make it a developmental space, to bring up new talent, to help current, advanced but not professional talent, help them get to that next step, help develop them to that next step, help them be a better person, a healthier person, healthier habits, that sort of stuff. And if we can do that here, if we can be that, be that next step here with some support from athletic department or whoever, or not even whoever, but specifically the athletic department, if the athletic department could give us that support, I mean, that's an investment, and that would show a lot of trust. But it would go so far because this esports scene is not going to, suddenly vanish overnight.
No, it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah, it's only going to go up. And the more you invest in it now, the bigger we can be in the space later.
Yeah.
In the same way that volleyball was very small to start nationally, and then it became a national sport.
Yeah.
At the collegiate level. And then we invested in it very heavily. Well, we invested in it with a coach that invested a lot of his time very passionately and built a dynasty that continues to this day.
Yeah.
We need that sort of support to get to a point where we can have those resources where a passionate coach can take us the distance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's possible. I think it's entirely possible. And the group of people there right now are amazing. And honestly, if they got that kind of skill development, I think some of those teams could be terrifying. Not that they aren't already, but they could be dominant.
Even more.
Yeah. Just national powerhouse is what we could be with those kind of resources.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, it's totally feasible, to be honest. I mean, just look at the success of the Rocket League team.
Exactly. The Rocket League team alone. And that's the first step in the success, is having one team prove that it's possible to do it from here. And they did it in the most unlikely way possible, where they were unknown. Nobody knew each other before, and everybody pulled from on campus, right? All at different levels of skill, no real communicational, togetherness in April, not in April, but in, from the fall months through the winter. And then they start cooking it up. They start going to practice. They start developing. They start getting that team connection. And then over the course of the spring, suddenly they get their first goal. They were at a point where the first few weeks of the Big Ten, like the BEC season, which is a big esports conference, which is a conference made up of the schools in the Big Ten. In the first probably third of that season, the Rocket League team hadn't scored a goal.
Wow.
And then against Illinois, they got a goal. And they didn't win a round. But then suddenly it went from getting a goal to winning a round, winning a match. And then by the end of the season, they were on a huge uptrend where they had won multiple games in a row. And then unfortunately, we couldn't afford to send multiple teams to the tournament, and they couldn't play in that. But then they started playing in the conference series at the end of May, and went from, being completely underestimated. Nobody knew anything about them, and most of the BEC schools had played their B teams in the BEC. But now that we're kind of seeing a lot more of this competition outside of the BEC, I think a lot of teams are going to be playing their A teams. But still, we're talking semi-pros, pretty much pros in this league. And now we went the whole regular season up to the conference championship undefeated. We're in the national championship tournament in the second round. All in the span of at most 8 months.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that's without these top tier resources. That's purely, and in the best way possible, this is the power of friendship. This is literally the power of friendship in the best way possible, where that team was able to prove that you can, with very minimal resources, because they all played out of their dorms. It's what they had on them. Their PC, their own gear, in their dorm, in their apartment, and they just made it work. But if we had a facility, which we really, really want, and we're really working toward having that, the main problem there is funding, which we're really trying to work on. But with that, and with the with the primary facilities that come with being in the athletic department, you could take that so much further, and players that, come into the club and have really big struggles with mental, which is the main factor in esports. There's almost no other factor. Mechanical skill can be developed. That takes time. But the mental skill is one that takes forever. Sometimes it's quick, sometimes it's not. It's a very fickle thing because it's the brain, right? But when you have no mental coach, when you have no guidance on how to think about competition, how to think about competitive gaming, that mental can be the biggest downfall for a player.
Yeah.
And it's the biggest thing holding players back. And when you get past that hurdle with the resources of something like the athletic department to kind of give those tools to someone, it allows for these huge opportunities for great players out of nowhere. Diamonds in the rough are everywhere, and we just have to find them.
Yeah, I mean, and you probably feel like a lot of these other teams for Nebraska could take a huge leap just like Rocket League.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much talent on each team, and it's truly down to getting the resources to help them in a better way than just them honing their craft, which is the primary thing they need to do individually. But there's more that we could do, and I'm really trying hard to work toward that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to throw it to break. When we come back, we'll finish up this conversation with one last segment of Big Red Esports right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to Big Red Esports on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Problem gambling can destroy an individual's finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you are a loved one or struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join us this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska or online in your own home. Learn to ride a motorcycle, how to start a small business, how to dance, or take a course to advance in your current career path. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Want to contribute to medical advancements and get paid for your time? Join the clinical trial at Velocity Clinical Research. Participants can receive compensation, access medicines in development, and get study-related care at no cost. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. Help shape the future of medicine. Visit velocitytrials.com.
Hey Nebraska! Register today for the 40th annual Cornhusker State Games, taking place July 11th through the 21st in Lincoln, Omaha, and other Nebraska communities. The Cornhusker State Games features 70 sports for athletes of all ages and abilities. Price increases are approaching, so register early and save. For details, go to cornhuskerstategames.com. If you've experienced a sports injury, joint or back pain, trust your care to Nebraska Orthopedic Center, a proud platinum partner of the Cornhusker State Games.
Old School with DP and J.
And Todd Bowles, I'm going to tell you this, DP, his voice does not match his body type.
That's what I'm saying. He's never, I don't know how you can be led by Todd Bowles' voice.
That's a fireable offense anyway.
His facial expression is top notch. than his voice, because it's literally you're there expecting. It's like Mike Tyson.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The dangers of secondhand smoke are well known. But what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine, heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts.
For help quitting, call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
This is Big Red Esports on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right.
This groovy beat.
Yeah, it's a little Mario, you know? It sounds like it could be in like a jazz, like in a Mario jazz theme world.
I'm jumping on a mushroom as we speak right now.
Yeah?
With this music.
Dude, you know what I always call?
See, that is not Mario music, but it sounds like Mario.
It does sound like Mario music. But yeah, so we were. I guess we could kind of end off on a little bit of a talk about. So what do you? I guess our conversation on off break was about caffeine and soda and stuff like that.
Everything kills you. Everything gives you cancer.
Yeah, but we were talking, dude. Okay. 10, 15 years ago, we were talking about Maruchan ramen gives you cancer. It's like, dude, anything can give you cancer because everything technically has a radiation. You give me cancer, doc. You have a radiation level.
Dang, bro.
Above 0. Like it's not that great. I don't know. But anyway, not quite on that topic, but it got me thinking, when you're sitting down for a long gaming sesh, what do you got?
What like eating or drinking?
What you got with you when you're sitting at the desk, or I don't know what your setup is, but what you got? Okay.
So I mean, usually it's just like I try not to eat when I'm playing video games because that's just like not good for your setup and stuff.
Sure.
But usually I just have like a Powerade or water, and that's about it. I don't drink caffeine. Yeah. I'm very low key.
Yeah.
I get one Powerade and that usually gets me through.
Yeah. I'm
and then sometimes you have to take like a 20-minute break to eat or something.
Oh, you like break to eat and stuff like that?
Well, yeah, I don't want to be eating while I'm playing.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna give you the sauce right now.
Right? You can't take a 15-minute break.
I'm gonna give you this strat right now, dude. So when you go to your desk, take some paper towels. You fold them up, right? You have them ready to go. My setup is so I either do Dots pretzels or
I do chips if I'm gonna eat.
Yeah, I like Dots pretzels because they're not as chippy. They're not as
chippy.
Well, chips always, they pack into your teeth.
We're getting chippy in here.
Well, like chips, they always especially Lay's and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They really just pack into your teeth. Not that Dots pretzels don't, but I don't know. I
don't know
Dots
what you mean by that. What do you mean by that?
Why?
Pack into your teeth. What do you mean by that?
When you chew a chip, does it not just get packed into your tooth?
Oh, you're talking about what I mean? Stuck in your teeth.
Yeah.
Nah.
It gets all up in it gets all up in there and when you're like chewing on like a few chips, you know, and you stuff them in, and then
It's
eventually,
more like the stuff that's on the fingers is more annoying to me.
like the grease.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
not
what I
the
go
grease,
with,
like you know, like the chip, like the dust, like Cheeto dust. Like if you
Oh,
eat
you're
Cheetos,
talking about
like
like the little crumbs and salt and all that. Yeah.
and then you go and touch your controller or keyboard.
Yeah.
And you
Well,
get
that's why I like dots too. Is like you don't have that problem.
See, I feel like I need to buy pretzels. I feel like pretzels
Are a great finger food. The other thing,
because they're not messy at all.
It's true. I either bring dinner over, so I'll like make dinner and then start
Is
making
dinner,
sesh.
lunch, or supper? I need to get this straight.
It's supper.
Okay, so you go breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Dinner.
Some people go breakfast, dinner, supper.
Yeah, that's out of line. That's out of line. My grandma does it, and I respect her for it. I love her, but she calls dinner she calls supper and lunch dinner. Sometimes brunch is dinner, and I'm like, dude,
this is the thing.
I gotta know.
This is the thing. I want to ban the word dinner.
That's
because
crazy.
Everyone knows what lunch is, and everyone knows what supper is. When someone says dinner, you don't know if they mean lunch or supper.
I think dinner at this point is just a meal, and
this is what I'm saying. When people like my dad will text me, be like, "So what do you want to have for dinner?" I'm like, "So are you asking me about lunch or supper?" Like I don't know. see, like, and the thing is that lunch isn't even supposed to be a thing. Like it's supposed to be, I think, dinner and then supper. Like dinner is supposed to be lunch.
I don't think so.
It was supposed to be breakfast, dinner, lunch is like a snack, and then you had supper.
What?
Like that was like a Midwest thing. That's a Midwest thing.
That is not.
That's a Midwest.
Not
that's
a Midwest thing.
That's
dude.
that's a Midwest thing.
I
I'm
grew
telling
up.
you.
No. I grew up in Western Nebraska, and I have never heard of that in my life.
You've never heard of that?
No.
You're crazy, bro.
You are crazy.
No, I hear that all the time.
Where are you getting this?
I hear that all the time, bro.
From who?
Everybody.
Just on the
farmers,
street?
Like farmers.
Nah, dude. I grew up on a farm and ranch. I grew up on a farm and ranch. Lunch was a meal. And it was called dinner.
Text line. Help us.
Yeah.
Help us. What
solve this argument in the next
minute or two?
Yeah, in the next couple minutes.
So is it like breakfast, dinner, lunch is a snack, and then supper? Is it like lunch and then dinner is supper technically, or do you just not have a lunch? Like what? Or is like I just don't even think dinner. I want to ban the word.
Let's make it a clear question.
I want to ban the word dinner.
What do you define as dinner? On the text line, what do you define as dinner? Because this is
402-464-5685. Please text in.
This is I can't believe it got that heated, but
I want
never
to ban
heard
the word dinner.
No,
I want to ban the word dinner.
That is
because
that is Midwestern heresy. That is Midwestern heresy because you're suggesting that lunch is a snack and then you're having dinner as a meal in its place. And then you have supper.
That's what it is.
Where are you getting this idea? And don't say everywhere because I have been a great many places, Jack, and I have never.
What is
that.
Dinner? I just want to Google it. What is dinner? Bro, dinner is such like a you can just say dinner for everything.
It's a broad term. What are we doing?
Is dinner, lunch, or supper? Bro, this is so like so dinner is really the main meal and people might have it in the middle of the day or evening. Lunch and supper are both light kinds of meal. Lunch is middle of the day, supper is evening. So
dinner's just like the most prioritized meal after breakfast.
I guess.
Because like
breakfast is supposed to be your biggest meal. I don't even eat breakfast. I'll admit.
That's crazy.
I don't even eat breakfast.
No, that's insane. Breakfast is supposed to be the biggest meal.
I don't eat breakfast at all. I just have a big lunch.
I guess. I mean, if you're staying up late, that's fair.
I do stay up late.
Yeah, if it's fueling you through the day, then yeah, it makes sense.
But this is the thing. You know, I've been helping with early break, so I'm waking up at 5 a.m.
Yeah, makes a
so I don't eat breakfast.
Get up 20 minutes earlier, you get some eggs in there.
Bro, I don't want to eat at 4:40 in the morning. I'm not gonna be hungry because I need my midnight snack.
All right.
I need my midnight snack. We went a little bit over time.
Yeah.
Wrap it up. We got a minute.
In conclusion, dinner.
I'm right. You're wrong.
No.
Yeah.
Dinner is a justified word because it's the prioritized meal after breakfast, probably because of family and being around the family. So probably mostly supper is what I would say, but lunch on the farm, everybody gets together for lunch and it has food. So at least in my family, they did.
Yeah.
But that's going to wrap it up here. Some arguments about food on Big Red Esports.
Dinner. I just want to ban the word dinner.
You're weird for that.
Everyone says dinner, and I don't know what they mean. What do you mean by dinner?
All right, we can continue this next week.
Maybe.
I feel we've got a little bit of some headway going into that. But
all right.
This has been Big Red Esports. I'm Jaden Schilke. He's been
Ben.
Gus.
Bye. See you next week.
Dinner is real.
Dinner's not a thing.
Be a memory for your grandchildren. Among Nebraska adults age 65 or older, 47% report current alcohol use. Drinking too much can cause harm to children, family members,